Okay, so welcome to the Bring Back My Bar portion of the video. So I'm going to film this like this because there's a lot of information to go through and I don't want my head, stuck down half of the video. So it goes without saying, obviously, all these reviews are just based on how I perceive the scent, how it does in my home, my experience, and my opinions. So I encourage you to watch as many videos as you can to get an overall impression of the scent because there's obviously going to be some scents that do really well for people and some that don't. And then you want to just get the average consensus, okay? So if you need more detail, you can always go search a Tester Tuesday video. And just so you know, I've already warmed 24 of these scents beforehand, so I do have some previous experience with them. But let's get into the first scent. It is Blue Hyacinth, and I warmed 3 cubes from this bar, which was from 2018. So if you look at that, the difference is we now have a Bring Back My Bar sticker, we have the Made in Idaho sticker, and you can actually tell by the looks of the two bars that one is more vibrant. It's almost like there's a filter added to the new artwork. So it's really, really pretty. I quite like it. So I'm just going to flip that over. So I used up 5 cubes here. So this is obviously a floral. This is my 2018 bar that I warmed. It says for the scent description, florals from heaven, pure blue hyacinth is all about the flower power. So for me, it's like a blue hyacinth, and it's almost like a fresh air component mixed in. Almost like an ozonic note. I call this a dark horse scent because sometimes if you haven't tried it and then you do try it, sometimes you're surprised at how much you like it. So it is definitely floral, but sometimes non-floral lovers do well with this one. So performance-wise, intensity is about a medium to a medium low. Longevity, however, it's a very long-lasting scent for me. So I get many days. Strength and throw is about between 6.5 and 7, and both bedrooms I warmed it in. And for me, I'll be warming this mostly in my bedrooms. I wouldn't put it in my open layout. Not quite strong enough, I don't think. Be probably nice mixed with Atlantic air, or you could even mix with a green note, like a fresh cut grass, or even maybe like a flower shop. That would be nice. So this one here, for me, I've picked up maybe three bars purchasing, but I'm not going to be putting this one in my Scentsy Club. So that is Blue Hyacinth. Okay, so here we have Candy Crave, and I'm filming on a different device, so the picture might look a little bit different. This is a former kid scent, and I had some testers, and I had an old bar here, so I used 2 cubes from this bar and these testers here. I would describe this as a confection or a body care type of confection scent. Scentsy says, just the sweet stuff, raspberry sorbet, cotton candy, and fluffy marshmallow. So I would describe this as a blue cotton candy marshmallow body spray type scent. I think the raspberry creeps in there, and a lot of raspberries can read perfumey. And so I think that's why you can pick up a little bit of a perfume note in this scent on warm. So Candy Crave is a bit of a hit or miss scent for a lot of people. Most people would say it's a lighter intensity scent, and I would agree. So I would say it's about a light to a light medium. Longevity is about 2, maybe 3 days, but at a very light intensity. So in both areas I warmed it, strength and throw was between 4 and 5 in one area and 5 and 6 in another. And I left it going a couple of days on average. And I would suggest warming this in a bedroom, a kid's area, a small area, just so you can get as much out of it as possible. I think the only thing I wish I could change about this scent was I wish that it was stronger. And I wish that it did not have the body care scent, because when there's a food-based scent or a beverage-based scent, I prefer no body care component. I have repurchased 1 bar, so I think I have this full bar plus another one and this partial, so I'm stocked up for now. And just as a side note, this is the first Bring Back My Bar to have sold out. So the next scent we have is Coffee Tree. I would put this in the bakery or the corner cafe section. Scentsy says, bold and sophisticated, wake up to the rich aroma of freshly roasted coffee beans. So I would describe this as a coffee plus a sweetness plus a mystery ingredient that I can't quite pinpoint what it is. Sometimes I get a mild nuttiness with this. Sometimes I get a tiniest hint of chocolate. There was a Bath and Body Works candle a while back that had a coffee and a floral, and it came across a little bit strange. And there's certain times where this scent comes across a tiny bit strange, but I still like it. I just don't absolutely love it. I'm still looking for that perfect coffee scent for me. So on cold sniff, this is pretty intense, but on warm, it goes down slightly, probably about a 7 to an 8 out of 10, depending on the location you're warming it. I did warm it in my open layout. I got 7 out of 10. I left it going a long day of 15 hours. It does dissipate after a few hours, so keep that in mind. Coffee scents usually are short duration type scents. So now if you're someone that likes coffee scents in the morning, what I would suggest doing is warming the wax for 2 to 3 hours. Turn off your warmer, let the wax harden, put your warmer dishes in the freezer. Once the wax contracts, it will pop out as a disc. You could put that in a wax-safe polypropylene bag and you could warm it again the next morning and maybe the next morning, so you could get a few days out of it that way. This is open concept worthy. It's not super strong there, but it definitely does well. So I'm going to warm it there or in my bonus room. It's great as a mixer. You could mix caramel scents, bakery scents, pumpkin spice scents, lots of different options. Will I repurchase this? I think what I'll do is I will put it in my club until Scentsy comes out with Perk Me Up. I think I might like that one a little bit better based on my previous warmings. But for now, this one's going to stay in my club because I really do like coffee scents. So that is Coffee Tree. All right, the next scent we have is French Kiss. I would put this in a woods category or a romantic category. This is the bar that I warmed. I used 4 cubes out of this one. I used 2 in my room and 2 in my bedroom. So Scentsy describes this as sweet fig, tenderly caressed by coconut pulp, exotic cedar, and caramel. So you definitely get a sweet fig. You get a hint of a sweetness of a caramel. You also get a nice, soft, pretty, gentle woodsiness that's also reads a little bit sweet, so that's from the cedar. And then the coconut pulp, I think, just kind of cruises in there and makes it feel luxurious, for lack of a better word. This is a dupe for Bath & Body Works Brown Sugar and Fig, so I'm told. This one is a medium to a medium light performer, but it does build in the room and it's definitely long lasting. So in my daughter's room, it was 6 out of 10. I had it going 4 to 5 days there. And in the bonus room, it was 7 out of 10. I also had it going 4 to 5 days there. So it's really long lasting. I was pleased with that. Personally, I would stick to a bedroom. I liked it much better in a bedroom, but it actually was really nice in the bonus room, which is like a TV room. When I first got this, I was unsure if I wanted to get more, but once I warmed it, I definitely did want another bar. I have warmed this in the past, so you know, I think this is the type of scent I'm going to have to be in the mood for, but when I am in the mood, it's really going to hit the spot, and I'm probably going to put it in a bedroom. The other thing is, where it's so long lasting, let's say you had company coming over, staying with you for a few days, you could put this in their room and not feel like you had to go in and update the wax for a while because it does last so long. So as long as you think the company would be okay with this scent, it would be really good for that kind of thing. And this kind of reads a little bit like late summer to me. It's a little bit, it's not quite heavy, but it's a little bit of a thicker scent for the heat of the summer. So I think I will wait until fall and use the rest of this, and that is French Kiss. Okay, so next we have Fresh Cut Daisies. I would put this in the floral section, but there's also quite a bit of freshness with it. The bar on the right is my 2018 Bring Back My Bar, and the bar on the left is the current Bring Back My Bar. So this one is empty. I warmed it about a month ago, and I went and dug out the clamshell from Ryan's room. So Scentsy says, for the scent description, a meadow awash in summer blooms, freshly cut grass and clover with daisies, buttercups, and ivy. So you definitely get a floral component. You get the daisies and you get the buttercup, but it's so much more than that. There's a freshness, there's a crisp air, there's a greenness. It's really nice. So years ago when I picked this up, I remember thinking I wasn't going to like it when I saw the name. And then I smelled it and I was like, oh, okay. And then I warmed it and I'm like, oh, it really won me over. So then I put it in my club. And unfortunately, I removed it from my club and I've regretted it ever since. So intensity on this is strong, I would say. Longevity is about average, maybe even a bit above average. So in an open layout, very challenging area in my home, between 8 and 9 out of 10. I left it going 2 days, 25 hours. So if it does well there, it's going to do well other spots. I did warm it in 3 other locations, but they all did great. You could warm in this, like I said, anywhere. At the end, it does read a little bit laundry, just to give you a heads up. And for me, I'm really happy that this is back because it has definitely made its way into my Scentsy club, and that is Fresh Cut Daisies. Highly recommend, even if you don't think you're going to like it. So the next scent we have is Honeymoon Hideaway. Here's my old packaging. You can see the difference in the vibrancy here. So I warmed 4 cubes from this, but I warmed lots of other testers, and there is a Tester Tuesday video out on this. So I would put this in the floral fresh category. Scentsy says, escape to a secluded retreat of dew-kissed lily and tart sweet kiwi, shaded by lush coconut palm. So this is a beautiful scent. There is a little bit of a problem. I describe this as a scent that you have to be one of the chosen ones to smell it well, because it does have a reputation of being hit or miss. So for scent, it's beautiful. It's tropical, it's lush, it's sweet and tart at the same time. It reminds me of when you go to a resort and you wake up in the morning and everything is like crisp and fresh, and you walk down near the pool and you can just feel the air's a little bit cooler, but it smells terrific. That's what this reminds me of. So like I said, intensity is light. For me, it's almost non-existent. I was able to fiddle around and get almost a 4 out of 10 in a Scentsy warmer, and I did put some in a big box store brand 24-watt hot plate. I was able to get it to 7 out of 10 using that, but I usually never do that, so I just don't want to use those hot warmers. But it just kind of goes to show you might need to use a very hot warmer. You might need a small location for this scent. And if you're lucky enough to get the pods in the clearance, you could supplement the scent with pods. So would this be a repurchase for me? Sadly, no. I mean, due to the poor performance, I'm not going to repurchase. Sometimes I don't even really know how long a light scent lasts, because you can't really tell when it fades away because it's so light starting out. So it's just one of those really tricky scents. If you're someone that does well with this, congratulations. I wish I were you, because this is a beautiful scent. All right, here we have Jet Set Go. This was the one scent that I had not had experience with before this Bring Back My Bar. I used half of the bar, 4 cubes. I did have too many testers before. I smelled them. They seemed light. I was hoping the bar would be different, but unfortunately it was not. So Scentsy says, jet off to a balmy tropical paradise of Brazilian orange, jungle papaya, and island vanilla. So I would still kind of put this maybe in the fresh category, and I would describe this as a vanilla-based tropical scent. It is hard to smell. It's not obvious when you walk in the room. Sometimes I had to try to remember what I was warming. So I would describe the intensity as a light to a light medium. I had it going between 3 and 4 out of 10 in the 2 areas I warmed it in. I left it going a couple of days because you could just get gentle whiffs of it. For location of where you should warm this, I would say warm it wherever you have luck with it. So if you fiddle around and you find a good spot, then stick to that area. For me, I think we have the palm trees and ocean breeze available to warm, and I think that one is fairly similar and it works better for me. So I would probably go with that one. So sadly, this will not be a repurchase for me, and that is Jet Set Go. Sometimes you just get your hopes up for something. You're really hoping, and then sometimes it doesn't meet your expectations. So yes, obviously sad, but there's lots of scents for us, so this is a pass for me. The next scent we have is Kahiko Hula, which I would describe as a fruity scent. I have my old testers here, which I warmed, and this is a full bar. I actually have some of these in my stock. So Scentsy says, say aloha with exotic passion fruit, mango, and papaya. So I would put this in the fruity category. It's a very tangy tropical fruit smoothie with the tiniest bit of creaminess added in. I feel like you get a lot of passion fruit with this, and the papaya doesn't read stinky feet. It's actually really nice. So intensity for me is about a medium. Now, a lot of people have been saying this is really light for them. I find I've had great performance, and it could be that my bars are well aged. I don't know. So one thing I would note is there is no Made in Idaho sticker, so I'm not sure if this is a recent bar or not. So for longevity, I usually leave it in about 1 or 2 days. So I warmed it in bedrooms in both spots. One spot was 7 out of 10 max, the other was 8 out of 10. And like I said, I'm pleased with the performance. This would actually be really nice in a kitchen, small or medium spaces, I would say. And I definitely would repurchase this bar. I actually have a few in my possession, so I'm pretty happy with this one. I hope you have good luck with it too, because I've just been hearing that it's a bit light this round. So that is Kahiko Hula. Okay, so the next scent we have is Lemon Thyme Berry. I would put this in the fruity category, or maybe even the fruity citrus. Scentsy describes this as sparkling lemonade and strawberries sprinkled with crushed thyme. So I warmed these testers, and I warmed 5 out of 8 cubes. So I would describe this as a lemonade scent with a dark berry, not so much strawberry. The thyme is there, but I don't think it's an obvious thyme. So it kind of cuts the sweetness, I think, and gives a little bit of a mild earthiness to the scent. The intensity for this is pretty good. I would say medium to medium high. 9 out of 10 in my daughter's room and 8 out of 10 in my open layout. Almost a 1.5 to 2 day scent for me. So longevity is a pretty average for a spring summer scent for me personally. I would say this is a very versatile scent. You could warm this anywhere in your home because it is strong enough, and it does have kind of a universal scent appeal for most regions of the home. And this was a repurchase. I've already picked up 3 bars. I think most people really like this one, and that is Lemon Thyme Berry. All right, next we have Love Story, which I would put in the romantic category, but we don't have that. So I'm going to put in the floral. Scentsy describes this as innocent pink jasmine and sensual amber, embraced by luscious dark chocolate. So on this bar, I used 4 cubes. You can see a little bit of sweatiness there. A lot of the bars in this round were kind of on the sweaty side, so that kind of sucks. I describe this as a really pretty scent. It's deep, it's rich, it's a floral, but like I said, a pretty floral with just a beautiful amber, which normally I don't like, but I love this one. So I can't detect chocolate in case you want to know, but I think it's just there. It gives depth to the scent. So intensity for this is, it's a mid-intensity scent. It could be slightly below average, but it's really pretty in a bedroom. Longevity is where it shines. I find this one is fairly long lasting. So in both bedrooms I warmed it, it was between 6.5 and 7, but I left it going 2 to 3 days, almost constant. So that was good for me. And like I said, bedroom scent for me. I wasn't sure if I was going to put this in my club or just repurchase. So I actually repurchased 3 bars, but then recently I put it in my club. So the reason I did that was because this particular scent is unique and it doesn't really come around very often. So I thought I'll put it in my Scentsy club just for a short time, and then we'll see how it goes. And that is Love Story. Okay, so speaking of love, we have Lucky in Love. So I would put this in the fruity, feminine kind of category. Scentsy describes this as a sweet bouquet of mandarin, bergamot, and orange with hints of peaches and berries. So I don't know if I get any of those particular notes per se. This is kind of a blended, harmonious scent. I describe it as sweet, it's innocent, it's feminine, it's very reminiscent of a body mist type scent, but guess what? It's actually a dupe for Victoria's Secret's Love Spell. So if you smelled that and you like it, then you definitely want to pick this one up. Performance for me, it's about a mid-level performance in terms of intensity. It's very light and airy, but it definitely fills the room. It's pretty. Longevity, it does a little bit better in certain spots. Like in my downstairs son's room, it did terrific. I had it going 3 to 4 days there. Most other areas, it was about 2 to 3 days, but I was pretty pleased with this. Strength and throw varied between 7 and 8. Now, I did warm this in my bonus room in an element warmer, which is a 12-watt doodle dot, which is, a pretty good standard element warmer. I only got about 4 to 5 out of 10 there. So it's an example of a couple of things. It could have been the warmer choice that I made with this scent, or it could have been the room itself. It's a warm room. So you may have to fiddle around, pick your location, and pick your warmer. And when you find something that works for you, stick with it. So for me, personally, I'm going to really use this in bedrooms. It does well there. In a hot ceramic bulb warmer. So will I be repurchasing this? I think I've picked up 2 bars already, so that is Lucky in Love. I was very pleased with this one. Okay, so the next scent we have is Mulberry Bush. I have an older bar and I have a Bring Back My Bar. And I actually finished this one, but I warmed 2 cubes out of this older bar as well, so I'll put that there. So Mulberry Bush is a fruity scent, and Scentsy describes it as sweet mulberry accented with bittersweet orange peels. So I don't really get orange with this. This is really a summer transitioning into fall or early fall scent, in my opinion. The mulberry reads kind of cranberry, grape, cherry medley. Hard to describe. I think if you're someone that likes jeweled pomegranate, you may want to pick up Mulberry Bush and give it a try. Obviously it's different, but it's kind of similar enough. Performance-wise, intensity. I would say it's a medium intensity, but I find it doesn't seem to throw well for me. I can smell it when I'm close to the warmer, but if I'm far away from the warmer, it's not the greatest. So I made the mistake of putting this in my open layout. I only got 5 out of 10. In bedrooms, it was a bit better, 7 out of 10, but it seemed to drop off quickly, maybe a day and a half, but I left it going 2 days just for convenience sake. So I would say slightly shorter than average duration and not a great thrower for me, but somewhat strong, if that makes sense. So use it in small to medium areas, use nice warm warmers and see what you get, and then move it accordingly. For me, just due to the scent appeal and the performance, this will not be a repurchase. So that is Mulberry Bush. Alrighty, the next scent we have is My Wish. The category for this, maybe we'll say unique. I'm going to make up a unique category scent. Scentsy describes this as a confection of earthy fig, sweet violet, and playful marshmallow will have you wishing for more. So this is I think it's before my time, bring back my bar. I used up 5 cubes, and I actually warmed a full bar a few months ago for this. I'm not even sure where I picked these up, to be honest. The fig in this is not a dirty, gross fig. It's a very sweet kind of fig. The violet doesn't read overly floral. It's kind of like a sweet candied violet, and then you creep in with that fluffy marshmallow, and it's like dreamy and hazy. Perfect for a bedroom. Really, really nice. Now, some people said it reminds them of like a root beer or a root beer float, and I can kind of see that. Intensity for me is about a medium to a medium light. The longevity is slightly above average, I would say. So I warmed it in my bedroom and my downstairs son's room. So it's between 6 and 7 out of 10 for both those areas max. It does obviously start to dissipate. All these numbers are just maximum amounts for me. And like I said, I left one area going 2 days, one area 3 days. So I was pleased. I'm going to personally stick to bedrooms for this. I would not warm this in my open layout. It is definitely not strong enough. And if you don't like this, you picked it up and you don't like it, maybe a couple mixing options would be 100 Acre Wood. I think that would go nicely with this. Or if you have woolly slippers from the Hookah collection, I think this would be a perfect match. So I have repurchased this. I kind of stocked up rather than put it in my Scentsy Club. So I picked up 6 bars. Shh, it's a good one. I really like My Wish. All right, the next scent we have is Ocean, and I would put this in the fresh category. And I can feel the daggers coming at me now because I don't have great luck with this scent. But I'm in the minority, so I'll read you this description. Scentsy says, cool and refreshing aquatic notes, deepened with water lilies and ocean breezes. So I definitely get like a sweet, pretty, floral aquatic scent. I get the water lilies, I get the oceanic scents. I don't get salty sea air, but I do get this weird leather rubber component to it. And that sounds terrible, but actually is still pretty nice with this. Now the problem is I can't pick this up the greatest. It starts out really strong, but then I just lose it. I'm talking like maybe an hour or two later, and I have a really hard time smelling it. So I think this is an example of where most people do well with the scent. I'm struggling. So this is an old bar here. I think this is about 2 years old, and I have not warmed this bar. So I'm probably going to try to start warming this so I can get a feel. But intensity for me is variable, as I would say. It starts off about a 7 out of 10. In my daughter's room, it was only about a 3 or 4 out of 10. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Then it just kind of like downfalls for me. I left it going 2 to 3 days in all the areas just because I think other people could smell it. I just couldn't. And so I'm not really able to comment on longevity, but most people say this is a long-lasting scent, and most people say it's fairly intense. So I think I'm in the minority, and I'm going to go with the majority on this and say I would recommend this scent. Personally, for me, it doesn't work, but it works for most people, and that is Ocean. Alrighty, so the next scent we have is Oodles of Orange, and this is a former kid scent. Back when I first joined Scentsy, I would put this in the citrus category. Scentsy says, kids will love this sweet citrusy scent punched up by fresh pineapple, crisp papaya, mango blossom, and ripe bunches of tropical berries. Yum. So I would describe this as a vibrant but a light and airy orange scent all together. And there's extra things with that orange. There's like the tropical vibe. There's the sweet tang from the berry. It's really, really nice, but it definitely reads more orange to me. And it doesn't actually say orange in the description, but obviously it's implied by the title. So it kind of reminds me of McDonald's Orange Pop, which is not a bad thing in my opinion, but it's very light and airy in feel. It doesn't feel heavy, but it's a great performer. So intensity is medium to medium plus, 7.5 to 9 in the different areas I warmed it. It did fine in my open layout. It actually We had the air fryer going the day that I put this in, and I was a little worried, but it killed it. It did not have any problems with the fried food smell, so it did really, really well. Longevity, this type of scent for me, I would describe as a shorter acting type of scent. I left it going just one long day in both areas that I warmed it. So I did warm these testers up here, and I warmed 5 cubes. So this is definitely open concept worthy. Will I repurchase this? Well, unfortunately right now it's sold out, but you can put it in your Scentsy Club until June 30th. But lucky for me, I picked up a 6-pack. I'm gonna mix it on it, warm it on its own, and also mix it. So this is a good one. I like it. It's Oodles of Orange. Highly recommend. Okay, so next we have Palo Santo. I would put this in the woods category. Scentsy describes this as Palo Santo wood, charred cedar bark, and teak are the ultimate dreamboat blend. So this scent is the controversial scent of the bunch. People either love it or hate it, and I'm in the middle. I would describe this as a definite char with the wood. You get a char, you get almost like a mild incense. There's no cologne note with this one, as a lot of vendor waxes have cologne notes. Now I think what happened was Scentsy came out with this, and then shortly after that, vendor wax came out, and I felt like this wasn't popular when it was with Scentsy, but then vendor wax came out with it, and now it's voted back, so I'm not really sure. It is different than the vendor wax versions. There's not a lot of sweetness to it. I would usually use this more as a mixer than by itself, but I did warm 2 cubes by themselves, and they did about 5 out of 10 in my bedroom. So what you're gonna find is when you smell this on cold, it's gonna smell super strong. And then when you warm it, it's gonna seem way lighter than you expected. That's my experience with this. So it definitely changes from cold to warm. And I left it going a couple of days in my bedroom in a very hot warmer. Again, at the most, it was 5 out of 10. So don't be scared to give it a try. So let's talk about mixes. So in last month's video, I talked about challenging you guys to mix this scent with things so that people could have options if they don't like it. And if they do like it, they could have options to switch it up. So I picked 4 different scents to try, and I avoided things like sugar cookie, vanilla bean buttercream, toasted marshmallow, bonfire beach, partly because I knew a lot of people would try those, but also I didn't want anything with added smoke. So the first thing I went with was something that was very, very sweet. I thought it would work well with this, and it's a brick, and it's salted caramel toffee. So this was a really nice combination because this is so sweet and this is a little bit smoky. They really balanced each other out very well, and I did about equal parts in my bedroom, roughly 2 cubes worth. It did great. I was pleased with this. The next one I also used a brick of, and this is a bakery with a little bit of spice and a tangy sweetness, and it is walnut raisin muffin. So this I put in my bonus room. Now I wasn't there a lot to kind of get a great feel, but when I did walk in, most of the times I enjoyed this. So again, roughly about a cube each in a 40-watt Vino warmer. It did fine. This is not a super strong scent. It's basically a tangy raisin scent with some clove and a minute amount of bakery. So it was really nice with this. I would warm this again. The third thing I tried it with was a creamy bakery scent because I thought to myself, let's pick a different option. Oh, there's a hair on the floor. And I mixed it with butter pecan. So I did about 2-to-1 ratio, 2 parts butter pecan to 1 part Palo Santo in my open layout. I actually would suggest maybe even 1-to-1. The Palo Santo kind of diluted the intensity of butter pecan, but this is a very butter background vanilla-based scent. There's a little bit of nuttiness and there's a little bit of maple. So these worked really well together. Next time I do it, I'd probably do 1-to-1, but I like that mix as well. And the last mix I used was sugar. And this was a really nice mix. So I had a tester of each, a mid-sized tester of each, and I put it in my laundry room in a mini warmer. So it was nice. I wish it was a little stronger, but I think it's because it was in a mini warmer. So next time I'll put it in a full-size warmer. But I think this might have been my favorite mix out of all 4 that I did. But I really liked all 4. My least favorite, gosh, I don't even know. They were all really good, but I think this was my favorite. So yeah, just some options for you. And remember, if you can add your Palo Santo mixes at the end of this video, whether it worked well for you or it did not, please do so. We will not judge you based on your selections at all. So I will repurchase this. I just picked up 1 bar because I want it for a mixer, and that is Palo Santo. Okay, so the next one is Rockin Ruby Raz. This is a former kid scent and I would put it in the fruity category. This is described as a fruity blend of juicy orange, fresh strawberry, and sweet candy glaze, all wrapped up in one perfect fragrance. So this is another one of Scentsy's fruit punch variation type scents, but I find you do get a little bit of, it doesn't say raspberry, but I assume there's some in there. You get the strawberry, but you definitely get that candy glaze. It does return often. It's been in 1 or 2 Bring Back My Bars, I think, since I've been a consultant. It's come back in 1 or 2 like Easter collections, so this one does return quite often. It is a strong scent. Longevity is not super long lasting because some of those boomers tend to kind of die off. So my open layout, I left it going 1 day at 12 hours at its strength and throw of 8.5. And in my bonus room, I left it going 3 days, 25 hours in total. And that was about 8.5 to 9 there. It did really well there, so I might warm it there as well. My kids like this type of scent, so I'd probably warm this in their room. So I did use 3 cubes. I did have some testers, they're actually put off to the side, and this bar is full. So I don't think I need to repurchase. This will definitely be enough for me. And Scentsy does have other somewhat similar scents that I can pick from. So that is Rockin Ruby Raz. Nice and strong. All right, so the next scent we have is Spring Forward. I would put this in the fresh category, but it is a unique type of scent. Scentsy describes this as, if sunshine had a scent, it would be this burst of Italian bergamot, raspberry jam, and cedarwood. Kind of sounds like Jeopardy the way they phrase that. Anyway, bergamot seems strong on the first day, and that's kind of what I don't like. There's a mild sweetness. I assume that's from the raspberry jam, which is a strange note mixed with cedarwood. A little bit of a strange combo. You get like a little bit of a floral, you get some woodsiness, you get the citrus from the bergamot, you get a mild, I guess, sweetness from the raspberry. It's a little bit of a strange combo. Not a favorite of mine, only because I had 9 bars of it as my very first scent of the month. So I think I kind of burnt myself out on it. And I was kind of surprised to see this one voted back because I didn't think it was overly popular, but obviously I was wrong. So performance, it did good in some spots, not good in others. So this might be one that you have to fiddle around with. It did really well downstairs in my son's room, and it lasted a while there. So that was pleasing. I would say about a medium level performer and sometimes medium light. So would I put this in my open layout? Definitely not. It definitely doesn't read strong enough for my open layout. But bedrooms, the laundry room, overnight warmers, that kind of thing, it would be fine. Will I be repurchasing Spring Forward? You probably can tell I won't, just because I had so much of it. I'm over it. It's fine, but a lot of people do really like this one, so I'm happy that they got to revisit it, and that's Spring Forward. All right, so the next scent we have is Strawberry Swirl. I would put this in the fruity category. Scentsy describes this as frozen strawberry swirl whipped with frothy milk and vanilla. So on cold sniff, I love this. It reminds me exactly of a Dairy Queen strawberry sundae. And what I like to do with those is I let the ice cream melt just a touch, and then I take the juice and the strawberries and kind of stir it into the ice cream. And then this is exactly what that smells like on cold. On warm, it changes for me. There's a note that comes out, it kind of reads a little bit tangy like yogurt, maybe even cream cheese, but it also reads like a similar strange note that you get from cookies for Santa, like almost like a warm milk note that I don't like. So definitely an example of a scent that differs for me from cold to warm. The first day, I really don't like this scent. There's something weird about it. After day 1, I like it much better. So I don't like it on day 1, and I tolerate it much better on the other days. So for intensity, I would say it's about a medium intensity. It varied between 6.5 to 7 in the 3 locations I warmed it in. I used up 5 cubes plus these. And for longevity, I felt like it was very long lasting, and perhaps that's because I don't love it. I don't know. But it was like 3 to 4 days in most areas. So this one also doesn't have the Made in Idaho sticker. So I don't know if some of these ones are ones that they were using for club bars. I don't know. So I would probably use this anywhere except a bathroom and an open layout, but you could warm it in bedrooms, kitchen, anywhere you want. For me, not a repurchase, just this was probably the one scent when I saw it on the list. I was like, oh no. But some people absolutely love this one, just not one that I personally do well with, and that is Strawberry Swirl. All right, next we have Summer Soleil, and I would put this as a fruity, tropical type scent. Scentsy describes this as pineapple and coconut milk top fluffy vanilla marshmallow. So I didn't warm tons of this. I warmed 2 cubes in one area and the full-size tester in another. So this is obviously an older tester. I smell pineapple, I smell vanilla, and a marshmallow mix. So it's really nice. It has the tiniest bit of body care-esque kind of twist, but very slight. It reminds me of a smell that you would smell if you went on a tropical resort vacation and forgot your bathing suit, and you went to their resort boutique, and you could smell something like that in the background. And then you look at the price tags and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't afford any of these, but you're stuck. So that is Summer Soleil. Now, unfortunately for me, it's kind of on the lighter side. So scents like Rio Beach White Sands, they're kind of in the same family as this one, but this one just doesn't do very well for me. So I would say the strength is light. Longevity is maybe 1 to 2 days, and some of that could be that I have a hard time picking it up. But in both areas I warmed it, it was 4 out of 10 at the most, and then it started to dissipate. So I would suggest if you're going to use this, try small spaces with a hot warmer and see how it does. This would not be a repurchase for me. If you like the scent, I want you to like mute the volume for a second. Back when this was in the catalog, I did not like the performance so much that I called this a WOS scent, waste of space, because I just wanted it gone so we could get another scent that performed better. So probably not the nicest thing for me to say, but this one just never has done well for me, and it's a lighter scent, but there's tons of people that love light scents, so I shouldn't be judgmental like that. There's scents for everybody, so just not for me, not a repurchase, and that is Summer Soleil. All right, I feel like I've been a little bit negative the past couple scents, so now we're getting into a really positive patch coming up. So here we have Sweet Pea and Vanilla. This is a floral scent. Scentsy describes this as an ambiance of raspberries and sweet pea petals with vanilla. So this was a former best-selling scent, so keep that in mind. I definitely get a lot of sweet pea, and I definitely get raspberries. I don't get much vanilla, but that's okay. It's very pleasing. Like when you walk into a room, this is probably going to make you smile. That's how pleasant it is. Even non-floral people love this one. Like it wins people over. So that is something to keep in mind. So if you had company coming over, this would probably be a safe bet because it's just so pleasant, pleasing, and very few people dislike it. So intensity for me is about a medium. Longevity is probably a little bit longer lasting than most scents in this category. I left it going 4 to 5 days in Drew's room, which is crazy. Not constant, but 60 hours, so that's terrific. And in my bonus room, I left it going 3 days, 30 hours. It's a little bit of a hotter, warmer there, but strength and throw is between 6.5 and 7.5. So perfect for me. It's a very pretty, fruity floral. I would say you could warm this anywhere, except if you warmed it in an open layout, it would probably be a very light scent because a big open area will bring a scent intensity down. So I have repurchased a couple bars of this. I really enjoy it. I probably even want to purchase more, but I'm probably going to refrain, but you never know. So that's Sweet Pea and Vanilla. Highly recommend. All right, so next we have Watermelon Mint. We have the beautiful green front with the red, just like a watermelon. This is my current bar, and I actually had enough testers that I could warm. This would be a fruity scent, and Scentsy describes this as a chilled slice of sweet watermelon sprinkled with bracing fresh mint makes a refreshing summer treat. So let's just talk about watermelon scents for a second because we have a couple coming up here. So watermelon is always artificial in wax form. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Now, in saying that, the fresh mint in here brings the watermelon to a more realistic watermelon. That's what I feel like it does for me. So what muddled mint is, it's like a garden fresh mint. You put it in a mortar and pestle, you use the little thing, you rub the daylights out of it, and it squishes the leaves, and you get the aroma and the scent, etc., etc. So that's what it's doing here. It's really nice. And when I first tried this years ago, I didn't like it. And now I really like it. So it's just kind of an example of how things can change. So intensity, I would say it's a medium intensity. Longevity is probably pretty average for me. So both areas I warmed it was between 7.5 in one area and 7 in another. And I left it going about a day and a half in each spot. So I would warm this most areas except for my open layout. It's not strong enough for there. But I think I have this bar, plus I have an older packaging bar. So I'm probably good because I just have so much wax. I don't need to stock up. But scent appeal on this one has definitely improved over time for me, and that is Watermelon Mint. All right, next we have Watermelon Patch, which I would also put in the fruity section. Scentsy describes this one as sweet, vine ripened watermelon. So pretty basic. Again, we have an artificial watermelon scent, but a nice strong artificial watermelon scent, a really good versatile scent as a mixer. So some people say this reminds them of Jolly Ranchers, which I don't eat, so I don't know. It reminds me of the watermelon portion of Bath & Body Works watermelon lemonade. And it also reminds me of those chewy watermelon candies that have the sweet and sour like sugar crystals on the outside, but they don't usually taste sour. That's the flavor I get from, or the flavor, that's the vibe I get from this. Performance for me is a medium plus intensity, I would say, but it's very short acting. Like it doesn't last very long. I only get like 1 day out of this. So I did have a mini tester as well, but I just didn't put it here. So I warmed 6 out of the 8 cubes. 5 of them were my open layout, and I had strength and throw there 8.5 out of 10. After about 6 hours, it really drops off, and I just left it going a few more hours. In my mudroom, laundry room area, again, 8 out of 10. A few hours later is about 4 out of 10, and I took it out after 1 day. So remember, excellent mixer. You could probably warm this anywhere, but keep in mind it's a 1 day type of scent. It's great for people that change out their wax pretty frequently. So I have repurchased 2 to 3 bars of this, and that is Watermelon Patch. I really like this one. All right, next we have White Tea and Cactus. I would put this in the fresh category. This was actually also formerly in the laundry and the cleaning line, as was Ocean was in the laundry. So Scentsy describes White Tea and Cactus as a clean, crisp, and refreshing floral mix with green notes. So this is a different type of scent, but people seem to really love this one. This is another scent that I have a weird vibe with sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes I pick up like a cucumber, which I'm okay with, but it's the weird pickle type note or pickling spice, dill, coriander, you know, almost a vinegar tone I get sometimes. So that is what I don't like. Now the good news is after about day 1, I don't really get that anymore. So day 1, it's very, very strong in intensity and in that note for me. I would say about 7.5 to 8. And then after about a few hours, 6 hours or so, it really drops dramatically, about half the intensity. And then I like it. It's a very fresh, clean, floral, gentle, pretty scent. It reminds me a tiny bit of aloe butter and cucumber. It reminds me a tiny bit of alpine meadow. So if you like those kind of scents, you might like this. And longevity, I left it going 2 days in one area and 3 to 4 days in another area. I would stick with the bathroom for this or the laundry room. I've only warmed 1 cube. I used up a lot of testers. An office would be nice. This would not be a repurchase for me. I'm not a huge into this one on scent appeal, but most people do love this one. I think I'm in the minority here, and that is White Tea and Cactus. Okay, we're going to wrap things up with Wild Black Cherry. Oops. Now, before we get into this, I am going to break off after the video and go through some categories to try to recommend certain scents for you based on what you like and dislike. So stay tuned for that. But let's talk about Wild Black Cherry. So obviously another fruity scent, lots of fruity scents in this round. This is a 2018 bar that I finished, I think last month. And this is the current bar. And you can kind of see a fogginess to the clamshell. And I must say, a lot of people get up in arms over foggy clamshells or tinted clamshells. It's no big deal. Everything's fine. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. So my son describes this as a cherry cola. My daughter describes this as cherry nibs. For some people, it's like an artificial cough syrup type scent. To me, it's more of a candied cherry scent. I actually am pretty good with this. I don't love it, but I'm kind of in the middle. This is my daughter's favorite scent, one of her favorite scents. And it does linger, and guess what? It is strong. Very strong. Intensity is intense. Longevity is a little bit longer than most fruity scents, I think, due to its strong intensity. So in my open layout, it was like 9.5 out of 10. In the other areas I warmed it, also 9.5 out of 10. I warmed it for 3 to 4 days in my daughter's room for 52 hours. That's crazy. Ryan's room, I only used 1 cube there, so I did 2 days, 30 hours. And in my open layout, I also did 2 days, which I usually don't because most scents after 1 day, they have lessened in intensity and concentration so much that you really can't pick them up well in the room. But this is a 2-dayer, so that's great. So it's definitely open concept worthy. If you find this too strong, a couple ways you can doctor it up. You can use a half a cube. You could put this in a low wattage element warmer with a lid or a glass mini warmer, because those are a little bit gentle type warmers. You could doctor it up that way. But for me, where this is my daughter's favorite scent, you would think I would put this in my Scentsy Club, being a good mother. but I haven't, because I probably have like 6 of these from 2018, plus this one. So I think I'm good for a while. But this one is a love it or hate it scent, but my daughter absolutely loves this one. Wild Black Cherry, very strong. Okay, so what I want to do in the next portion of the video before we say goodbye is I want to talk about some categories of scents and try to help narrow down the possibilities depending on what your preferences are. So if you're someone that likes strong scents, I have 3 strong scents and 3 somewhat honorable mentions. So the strongest scents for me were Fresh Cut Daisies, Rockin Ruby Raz, and definitely Wild Black Cherry. With honorable mentions going to the next 3, they are strong, but they're just not in that category of strong. So we have Oodles of Orange, Watermelon Patch, and somewhat at the beginning of its warming, Coffee Tree. If you're someone that likes lighter scents, I have 4 suggestions for you. They would be Honeymoon Hideaway, Jet Set Go, Summer Soleil, and Candy Crave. If you're someone that likes long-lasting scents, I have 4 suggestions for you. Blue Hyacinth, French Kiss, Love Story, and Lucky in Love. Next thing we are going to cover is my fan favorite 6-pack. So this is the 6-pack I would suggest for a brand new customer, and I didn't know what they liked, but I wanted to pick a variety, and I wanted to pick kind of home runs, ones that most people really like and do well. Not necessarily do well for me, but do well for most people. So my 6-pack of fan favorites would be Lemon Thyme Berry, Lucky in Love, Ocean, Oodles of Orange, Sweet Pea and Vanilla, and White Tea and Cactus. Now from the video and what I repurchased, you can probably tell what my favorites are. So I'll just kind of cover the ones that I put in my Scentsy Club. I only put 3. There was one that was an absolute entry to my Scentsy Club, and that is Fresh Cut Daisies. And the other 2, I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep them. They're kind of on probation there. But it is Love Story and Coffee Tree. What I want you to do down in the comment section below, there's 2 tasks. Task number 1 is to put your Palo Santo mixes, whatever you chose and how it did for you. And that will help out your fellow Scentsy addicts. Now the question of the month is the other thing I want you to answer. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Bring Back My Bars, because we focused on this a lot over the past month. So my question to you is, if you had to give Scentsy a letter grade for the overall roundup for this Bring Back My Bar, what grade would you give them? I think I would give them either a B+ or an A-, only because there was a few light scents in here that really didn't do well for me. And I tend to prefer medium to medium plus. And the other thing was there was very few that I did not like. So usually that is terrific. So I was pretty pleased with that. Overall, I think this was a really, really great Bring Back My Bar round. I would definitely be pleased if we had another similar round again. So as always, I hope you guys have a great day in your neck of the woods. I'm sorry about the crappy quality of the video. It was a shit show. I hope you guys take care, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.